Welcome to the Metal Bob Live Podcast. I am your host, Metal Bob. Today's show is brought to you by Legend Picks and also artist Jeremiah Kalleck. Links to these sponsors will be listed at the end of each episode. On today's show, episode 5, I had the honor of talking to ex-guitarist of Babylon AD, Danny Della Rosa. I spoke with Danny about his new solo release, 12 Weekends. We also touch on Babylon AD and why he left the band. So sit back, have a listen, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Mr. Danny Della Rosa, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Bobby. Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Good to hear from you. Appreciate you taking your time out for us, bro.
Thanks for having me. Congratulations on your show, too, by the way.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you. I had your brother Rob Reed on here about a week ago.
Oh, yeah, cool. How's Rob doing?
Rob's doing great, man. He asked me to tell you that he goes, I know it took Danny more than 12 weekends to make that record. He just wanted me to say that to you. I think he was just being ornery.
I didn't even start it until left the band, and I haven't seen or talked to Rob since the last show.
Yeah. Oh, he just wanted me to give you a hard time because he knew I was going to have you on.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Right on, man.
So, yeah, the new album's been out, about a week now?
Came out Friday. Yeah, almost a week.
Nice, man. Yeah, it's been great, man. I've actually listened to it a little bit more today, man. I love it, dude. I'm really digging Acid Flame and Downtown Slide. Them are a couple of my favorite ones off that album. They're really good.
Oh, that's funny you say Downtown Slide. I almost didn't put it on, but the guy that produced it with me, Mark, he really liked it, so I left it on there.
Oh, man, that's a great song, man. I'm glad you put it on there.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. You know, it just didn't come out the way I heard it originally or demoed it. It was a little heavier. But I don't know. I guess it sounds okay.
Oh, it sounds great, man.
Cool.
So out right now, 12 Weekends by Danny Della Rosa. I know you can get it on, is it iTunes, and it's on Amazon? Is it on Spotify? Well,
yep.
What other...
Everywhere you can download, I'm pretty sure it's on. It's distributed by Ingrooves.
Okay.
And they're Universal, so it goes everywhere.
Right on. So you want to tell us a little bit about, how this album came about?
Yeah, well, I've been making demos for a few years, and I was actually working on songs and a while ago, and in Babylon I would send ideas to Derek, and he would yay or nay, whatever he could thinks he could do something with. And whatever he couldn't do anything with, it just made me want to write more and demo more on my own. And, I didn't have any vocals on them. I said, F it, man, I'm just going to try and sing it. And I had never really sung before. So I started singing on the demos, and which made for more melodies, and it made the song sound more real. And, this batch of songs on this album is just a small portion of the body of work that I've created over the last several years. So, when I refer back to songs that I wrote, I think of all of them and not just what's on this album. But anyway, I started demoing the songs and singing myself, and then finally with Babylon, when I left Babylon, it got more real, and I just said, no, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to have someone else pick the songs and record them, and that's what I did.
Right on. So I was a little interested in the cover art. How'd the cover art come about?
I go to Cabo once or twice a year for the last 20 years, and I just love all the stuff out there and the whole vibe and everything. But I took a bunch of pictures of different things and put it together, and that was that.
Yeah,
I liked all the colors on it and the characters, in there. I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty slick, man. I was just curious, how you come up with that. I did like it. Is there?
Yeah, it's different. I think it's different. Mm-hmm.
So are we going to be able to order a physical format of this at some point?
Yes. In about a week, it'll be set up for CDs. The CDs are shipping now.
Nice.
You know how it goes in rock and roll. Everything's behind and delayed, and that's just the way it goes. But
oh,
but
yeah.
We'll have CDs available in about a week.
Perfect. So, do you mind me asking you, so what exactly transpired with you leaving Babylon AD, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I don't mind. Well, Babylon AD was the Persuaders before Babylon AD, and they had the original guitar player, John Matthews. Great guy, great friend of mine. We went to high school together. I played in my first high school band with him, and Rich Carlson, the guy who played drums on my album. Anyway, John left the band when the first album was being recorded, and then I came in and recorded the album, and I just thought that after we ran our course, obviously we were together for a long time, but we weren't playing all the time, all those years, all those months, all those weeks together. So those guys, it was kind of like in my mind, in my opinion, it was two different bands. The Persuaders, Babylon, and then Babylon AD with me were two different bands. And those guys wanted to go back and do some of their older songs for the Persuaders, and that's not something I wanted to do. So, I was happy for them because they were real excited about doing that. So it was a good opportunity for me to get out and do my own thing and start putting all the energy towards this album.
Right.
That's what happened. And I'm not sure where those guys stand right now. But last I talked to Derek, they weren't doing anything right now. So.
Yeah, I know Derek. He stays pretty busy, man. He's got quite a few projects going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I get myself for not learning how to engineer. That's a good thing. Derek, he can do all that stuff. He can make his own records, and if I wish I could do that, but I can't. I need help, and help costs money. And so it's great that he can do all those things, and he does different genres of music.
Yeah, I was talking to Rob about him. He's very versatile in his voice. I mean, the guy can sing lots of different styles of music, man. And he's got a real soulful voice, Oh,
yeah. I used to play in a band with Derek and Rob, way before Babylon. We were in cover bands together. And Derek he wasn't as much as a hard rocker as me and Rob were, and Rich, actually, my drummer, was in that band too. So he has experience singing all different types of music, and you could tell it really suits him well to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah, I talked to Rob a little bit about this too. I remember, I've been a big fan of Babylon AD for years, and I know we have talked before on an old podcast that I used to be on. I had John, and we had talked about the first album, and I got to finally meet you guys at Rock and Skull, and and that you guys had been around. I mean, damn near 30 years before I even got to see you guys play. And it's like, but man, you guys never lost a thing. It was like you guys came out there and you destroyed that place, and it was just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's like that. That first Babylon AD record, to me, is like one of the best rock albums that ever came out of that era, and I will fight anybody or argue with anybody who says different.
Well, as far as the way we sounded live, yeah, there was something about us that just I thought that we sounded really strong together. Separately, none of us are maestros or anything like that, but together we were able to pull it together to sound really tight and heavy. And everyone said that we sounded heavier than on the record too, which I always like. And that's what I want to do with this project that I'm on. I want to sound heavier than the record.
So you're planning on taking this out on the road then?
Well, I would like to. I mean, it depends on what the demand is, if there's a demand, but I put a band together, and we're going to start rehearsing soon. And, even if it's just a few select shows, I'd love to do that. But I'm excited to do that because I want to play again live. I haven't done it in a long time, and it's fun, you know.
Yeah, man. I think you would do really well with this album, and we just got to get people here to listen to it, man. It's a great record. I will push this thing till my heart's content for you, man. I think it's a really good effort from you. I know it's a great album, man, and I'm glad that you put Downtown Slide on there. I'd have been a little disappointed if I'd have found out that was a hidden track somewhere.
Well, it would have been on the next one.
Okay. All right.
A little different probably, but you know, it was an interesting way to go about recording because I played everything except the drums pretty much, and the co-producer engineer Mark Capitan, he sang a little backgrounds. He played a little bit of the harder, more difficult keyboard sounds. But it was a different way to do things for me because you know, one day I might play a bunch of bass and then put down some rhythm guitars and some shakers or something. It was just a lot to do, you know.
Yeah.
And it truly was 12 weekends. It wasn't 12 weeks, but it was 12 weekends that were spread, you know, sometimes, you know, a month without doing anything or 5 weeks without doing anything because Mark Capitan, the other producer and engineer, he's a full-time attorney, and he has his own studio, and he's real deep into music. But, man, that guy, he's so busy. I mean, you know, when we're recording, he's getting calls, and it's just is a pretty different way to go about recording, you know, because usually you want to immerse yourself in it, and you wake up and you record, and then you go to bed really early in the morning, then you start again early in the morning. But, you know, in this way, we kind of had to move around schedules and different things that would, you know, unexpected things that would come about.
Right. So what are a couple of your favorite songs off this album?
I really like It's All Right, It's Okay. You know, if I don't really like to listen to my music too much after I record it. But that one, I really like it. It's really poppy and melodic, and I like listening to it. I like The Secret. You know, different parts of different songs I really like.
Right.
Acid Flame I really like. I don't know. I guess I like them all.
Well, you did a couple versions of It's All Right, It's Okay on there, right?
Yes, I did. The second version has a breakdown in it that I really like, and that's really the original version. But I thought that the song is so poppy, and I thought that the breakdown kind of lost its steam, and I wanted to have another option to hear it without losing its steam.
Okay.
The breakdown. So that's why there's two versions of it.
Right. Fair enough. Well, hey man, like I said, dude, I think it's a great record. You know, I'm still a Downtown Slide fan. I'm going to keep throwing that at you because you were trying to keep it off the record. So I'm going to Acid Flame's a great song. Solo's another great song off that record. You Bring Me Down, I really like that. The Mirror is another great one. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on this album.
Yeah, thanks. You know, I just have to make it available for people to hear it because it is different. You know, it's not typical hard rock or you know, big hair rock or whatever you want to call it. It's maybe a little more melodic. You know, originally when I recorded this, I didn't want it to sound really too heavy in the guitars because I wanted it to sound different. And what I did was I ended up playing a lot of electric 12-string along with the 6-string guitar. And I think that made it, to kind of set it apart from typical guitar-sounding records. So it is a little different in that sense by using an electric 12-string.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so the album 12 Weekends obviously the name came from, you recorded it in 12 weekends, and the cover art, the cover art was inspired by, you know, you said Cabo Wabo or down there in Cabo.
Yeah, just Cabo. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, Rob said, Rob was giving me hell, man. He said, you got to give Danny crap. I said, you know what, dude? I said, I'm going to give him crap for you, but I'm going to give you crap right back for Danny. How's that sound?
Cool. That's fair.
Yeah, no, he's doing good, man. He misses you guys, man. We talked a little bit about Babylon AD, and I know that band's gone through a ton of changes. I know Ron's not in the band anymore, and
yeah,
you left, and Rob's gone, and I told him, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. When I think of Babylon AD, I think of Danny, Rob, Jamie, Ron, and Derek, and Rob. That's who I think of. Because that's who I grew up listening to. I mean, when I bought that album, that's who was in that band. So that's who I always think of when I think of Babylon AD.
Yeah, well, that's cool. And it should be noted that John Matthews, he co-wrote some of those songs on the first album, and he had a lot to do with the sound of the band and them getting signed and all that. The story of me joining the band was, when he left, I flew down to LA and moved down there in Hollywood, and those guys were just crazy out the hook partying, and I mean, it was like really literally hard for me to sleep in the apartment. And it was a lot, and because the record was, a lot of it was done, so I went in there and did all the guitars, and I was doing a lot of the work, daily, and those guys are partying. It was a difficult thing.
Right. Yeah, I'm not taking nothing away from John Matthews, man. I mean, that last album them guys just did was a great record. The Revelation Highway was excellent. I'm sure you've probably listened to it. It's a great album, man. There's some good stuff on there, and it kind of holds up a little bit to that first album,
See, I think it sounds like the Persuaders, like what they were before, and I think that's what they were going after too. Is to get a little more to the grassroots where they came from. So, and I think they achieved that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Rob, he was pretty happy with it, man. He said if he never played another note, man, he felt pretty good about that record.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and who knows what'll happen in the future? I don't know. I mean, I would be open to playing a festival or something, or, some kind of, memorable show. So you never know. See what happens in the next few years.
Right. But yeah,
I don't know that anyone hiring.
Exactly. And like you said, you never know, man, because I mean, you get a phone call next week, man. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. But, for now, I put my energy into what I'm doing now and try and get some shows and just try and get the music out. There's so much new music nowadays. It's incredible, really. And a guy like me can just put stuff out. But, sometimes it takes longer to work a record so that people hear it. And it's not something that you really make money off of either. It's something maybe you're lucky if you recoup part of it so you can do another one. But that's the joy of it is just creating music, putting it out there. So I think for independent artists, it's like when you put all that effort into a record, you're really just putting your name out there and not necessarily selling records. People are hearing you, but it's not because they're buying it.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's probably self-satisfaction too, though, just hearing your music being played out there, So.
Oh yeah, because you feel the need to create. I mean, that's what I feel,
Right.
If I sold 100, I mean, that's fine with me. I'd like to do more than that, but honestly, it was a bucket list thing, and just doing it was satisfying and gratifying for me.
Yeah. Well, I think you did a great job, man. I'm looking forward to hearing some more stuff, man. If you got another record full of stuff, I need to hear it.
Oh yeah, I do. I already have it written. I'm ready to go. I'm just gonna wait to see what happens here, and then try and put it together to do it again.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe a little more guitar on the next one. This one doesn't have a lot. It's not a guitar, or it's not a lead guitar type record to me. Although I wanted heavier guitars for rhythm, but I didn't necessarily want to put a lot of solos. But on the next one, we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's great, man. So, yeah, is there anything else you would like to say about this record?
Just that I hope enough people listen to it and give it a shot, and because it is different, and that's the feedback I'm getting anyway. And thanks to all the fans from Babylon over the years. It's been great. A lot of people reached out to me, like yourself, to see what I was doing and to, check in and see when it was coming out. And hope they like it, so that it has come out.
Right, and I will make sure that I put links to this album, if that's okay with you, so people can find it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
and I will.
Please do.
I will, and I'll make sure I do that, man. And so, yeah, man, it's been great talking to you, brother, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And I like I did, I enjoyed talking to you, man. I love the new record, 12 Weekends by Danny De La Rosa.
Right on.
And
appreciate it.
And hopefully,
I'd love to hook up with you sometime and have a beer and barbecue, man. You just seem like that kind of guy. And that's, I'm sitting in my truck right now, and it's 75 degrees out here in Northern California, and I'm thinking barbecue and beer.
Well, that just sounded like you was rubbing shit in there a little bit, man, because it ain't that nice here. No, that'd be.
But there's something about, Although I'll grill and smoke when it's raining. I don't care.
I'm the same way, man. It could be snowing here, and I'd give it hell.
Oh yeah.
No, that'd be.
I love the meat.
I would love to hang out with you sometime, man. And have a beer. That'd be great.
Right on.
But yeah, hell yeah. Well, brother, you take care, and I really, really appreciate you calling in, man. It means the world to us.
Thanks, Bobby. I do too, and I wish you the best. Good luck with your show, and appreciate the time.
Absolutely, man. And I hope to have you back on eventually.
Yeah, anytime. Just that.
Sounds good, man. I will get a hold of you. You take care of yourself, brother. Thanks, Danny.
All right, Bobby. We'll see you.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye. That concludes episode 5 of the Metal Bob Live podcast. Please check our sponsor links and also check us out on YouTube and other podcast formats. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Metal Bob out. Bye-bye.